Hi there, this is Tammy. Welcome back to my channel. This is Woodland Stitching Studio. This is a different kind of a video today. Usually my videos are, they are floss tubes where I show my whips and my finishes and all of those things. This is a finishing video. I'm going to show you how I do a flat fold finish. And the project that I am flat fold finishing today is from this is the Max Pigeon Cross Stitch for the Forest book. There's his name there. And I stitched fox and butterflies. Try not to get glare. I think this is adorable. This is my favorite piece in this book. You'll see I have some other flags, but I stitched this. I stitched it a while back. I think it was the year before last. Time goes so fast, it's hard to remember for sure. And this is what I'm going to show you how to do. I'm doing this in the video. This is my little flat fold. Stands up by itself. It's kind of hard to see that way. I can't get the camera up high enough, but it's got a ribbon in there that holds it. And this is, I'm going to show you how I did this. So let's get started. The first thing that I did was choose my fabric. I have this batik fabric that I got at the quilt shop in Milwaukee, and I thought it went really nice with this fox. I think they're going to be really pretty together. So I chose my fabric, and then I measured my piece. My little fox is 3 1/4 inches wide by 4 1/4 inches tall, and I want a 1/4 inch border on all 4 sides. So my first piece of chipboard that I need to put him on is going to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/4, and that will give me my 1/4 inch border on all 4 sides. For the kind of flat fold that I do, I'm going to need 5 pieces of chipboard. 1 piece is the size for him. The other 4 pieces are 1 inch bigger, so they are 4 1/4 by 5 1/4 each, and I need 4 of those. And this is how I do that calculation. I just add an inch, and if I don't do this, I don't remember to cut the right number. So that's how I do that. And then I will show you how I do so I need 4 pieces, and I've already done 2 of them. These are them. This is what they look like when they're done. So I'll do the other 2. I was only going to do 1, but they're done a little bit different. So the first thing I'm going to do, I have these 4 pieces of chipboard, and I have sprayed them with Eileen's tacky spray. And I'm going to put this, I cut them with scissors roughly, bigger than the fabric. So I'm doing this, and then I will take, stuff in my way everywhere. My little fox out of the way. I'll take my rotary cutter and my ruler, and I'm going to cut this 1 inch bigger on all 4 sides. One of these days when I do these videos, I'll figure out how to do a voiceover, so if I have time when I don't have anything really to say, then it's not just dead air. This is a 2 inch ruler, so works perfect because it has a 1 inch line down the middle. I'm going to do my best not to get out of camera. I haven't done an overhead filming for a long time, so I'm a little rusty at this part. So there's this one, and the next thing I'm going to do for this is I have, this is finishing tape. You can use, I'm a paper crafter, so I have a whole bunch of score tape, double-sided tape. This I actually bought from Fat Quarter Shop. It's 3 1/4 inch finishing tape, and I'm going to put it on all 4 sides of this. This is double-sided tape. On camera, right? I'm using a new stand that I've never used before for overhead, so it's a little bit different to me. And then I'm gonna, this is a bone folder, paper crafting again, and I'm gonna burnish this. And then I have this tool. I'll show you how to do it with and without. This is a tool for cutting a beveled edge. This is also from my paper crafting days. I make mini albums using cardstock and chipboard. And I didn't really say anything about the chipboard. This is just chipboard I bought off of Amazon. I'm cutting my corners off. So this is just chipboard I got off of Amazon. I used to have a finishing business, so I bought it in bulk, but you don't have to buy it in bulk. I bought, actually I bought mat board in bulk, but you can buy the chipboard in bulk also. Mat board is colored, and I always bought white, because if you're using a see-through fabric, you would want white behind it most likely. So I'm cutting off all 4 of my corners, keeping my fingers out of the way. It's still on the camera. I'm leaving a little space right here. I don't want to get too close, and you'll see why in a second, because I need some, I need like at least 1/8 of an inch here. This is probably 3/16. The next thing I'm going to do is remove my tape. This is a paper piercing tool that I made, again for paper crafting, but I use it for finishing also. So I'm going to take off the long sides, and then I'm just going to pull this. It's kind of hard to see. I'm just pulling it taut and folding it over, and I'll turn it around and do the same thing. This is why I cut 1 inch bigger. This is 3/4 inch tape. I could have cut 3/4 inch bigger. This, you can see, is not against the edge, and I might have sticky sticking out, which doesn't really matter once it's all put together. The next thing is to fold in these little sides here. So I'm going to use, sorry for the noise, this is Fabri-Tac. I also have, this is what Hobby Lobby sells now. They look the same, except one's called Fabri-Tac and one is called 3-in-1. They both came from Hobby Lobby, and when they changed, the price went down. So this one's fuller, and I'll be using it later. This I have upside down just in a little can, so the glue will stay at the tip. Oops. And then when I take off the lid, I'm just going to put a little bit, tiny bit of glue in the corner and on the, and that's probably kind of hard to see, I don't know, in each corner and a little bit up on top. Stick my lid back on, and then I'm pushing, so this has a thickness of about 1/8 of an inch. I'm pushing the sides in for just a second. And I should have taken this off. Push that in, and now I'm going to flip it around and pull it up and over. And this makes a nice corner that doesn't have a lot of bulk. Some of my older ones that I used to do a different way had a lot of bulk in the corner. These are really flat. So take this off of this side. I'm using this kind of glue. You can use tacky glue. I don't like it because it's a lot thicker and I can't get it out of the bottle. But you can use whatever kind of glue you like that will dry clear. There's lots of different ones out there. For the fabric part, it's easy to glue fabric together. When you're gluing paper products together, chipboard is a paper product, you want a liquid glue versus a tape, because I could just put this together with tape, but it could fall apart. So you want a liquid glue because the glue soaks into the fibers of the chipboard and then it bonds them together. And so that's why I use this kind of glue. I don't like hot glue. I've seen people do all of this kind of finishing with hot glue, and the first thing about hot glue is it burns my fingers. I don't like burnt fingers. And the second thing about hot glue is it can come apart. It adds bulk. So when you're putting, like if you were doing these corners with hot glue, it adds a lot of bulk. And it can fall apart later. It's not as permanent as a liquid glue that soaks into the fibers. So that's the third one, but the fourth one needs to be a little bit different. Okay, so the fourth one needs to be taller at the top. So I'm going to put this down so I still have at least an inch. And then when I cut it, I'll do the other 3 sides first that are all 1 inch. Or almost 1 inch. Oh, I did get a whole inch there. I'm hoping my heater's not too distracting. The heat just came on. Okay, now the top needs to be bigger, and you'll see why once we get going. So I'm going to, I don't want to leave, let's see. This top is 1 3/4. I'm going to leave the top the way it is. Oh, sorry, bumped the camera. And I'm going to put my tape on here. And I can never remember till I get to the end if I need a piece here or not, so I always put it there. I'm thinking I don't because it's going to be liquid glue, but it's okay. You can use tape and glue. There's nothing wrong with that. Bone folder. I now have an ugly pile over here, over there, and it's hard to find things already. So I'm only going to cut these 2 corners. I'm not going to cut these up here. And I'm only going to fold in 3 sides. So I'll start over here and I'll fold this side in. And when I get to the top, I'm going to pull this tighter so it pulls it at a little bit of an angle. And it's going to make a few little wrinkles here, but that's not going to matter. When it's all put together, you will not see these wrinkles. Don't put your finger on the tape that is uncovered. So again, I'm going to pull this so it does this. And then I'll pull these out. Go back down here and do this one the same way I did the other one. Sorry for that noise. Fold these in. Make sure all that is attached. Since it's been a while since I've done a video, there are probably some parts of this I could have done all ahead and I mean, I did leave out a little bit. I did already finish 2 of these pieces, but there's probably other pieces I could have done ahead of time. Okay, so there's that one. And now I'm going to do this piece, and what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to cut it 1 1/4 inches bigger on all 4 sides, and that's because I want my 1/4 inch border. So I'm going to take this, is it in the camera? I'm going to take this is the 1/4 inch line here, and I do have a straight side, and if it's not perfectly straight, it's not going to matter. I think I need a new blade. This don't see any defects when I look at my blade, but also this linen seems to be harder to cut. This is 40 count fiber, or no, 40 count Atomic Ranch, and I can't remember the color name. This was my first 40 count piece. Did that one better. Quarter. I just finished, which you'll see in my next regular Flosstube video. I just framed my snowflakes and stars piece that I'd finished, and I cut it too short, a little too short on one end, but you can't tell because it's framed, and it all came out okay. Okay, that is that. So there's my little fox, and here's my chipboard for it. It's already prepared. I'm going to use, this is called Warm and Natural. So I cut a piece bigger than this piece of chipboard, and I put finishing tape on it. You can use liquid glue, whatever kind of adhesive you want. This has a nubby side, which this is the nubby side. I don't know how well you can see that. And it has a more flat side. So I want the nubby side to be against the chipboard. And then I will trim this off. Right along the edge. I don't do it so it overlaps at all. I just do it right along the edge. And I don't know if you know this. This piece, well, this part is big enough if I cut those off. Dog hair. This works great for putting in your Q-snap to stop between your fabric and the clamp to keep your fabric taut. So that's what I use in there. So now I have this, and I'm going to center this on here, and I do it just by, usually with a light, so you're not going to be able to see that part, but I'm going to hold it over here for a second so that I can get it centered. So there I have it centered, and I'm going to flip it over and cut my corners. And you can I'll do the one corner this way, and I'll show you. You don't need this tool. This tool came from Amazon. I don't remember what it's called, but I can link it below. Boy, that linen is like a pain. You can just use this and still get the same border. But I like the tool because it hugs the corner for me, and makes it less guesswork, because doing this, my angle might not be the same on both sides of the fabric. This angle here, I might have it tilted too much one way or the other. And when this is all finished, I'm going to put cording on it, so it's not attached. I'm hoping I didn't mess up this placement. Looks good. Okay. What was I going to say? Cording hides a lot, so if the corners don't look perfect, that's okay, because cording hides a lot. So I'm going to take these off. Push that up so you can see it. I can't, with the stand that I'm using, I can't see the very center of my picture, so I'm going to pull this, and one thing I do, which is kind of hard to see, and I don't know, maybe I can show you when I turn it around. When I'm doing this, I'm looking at the fabric threads to try to get it straight. And the key word is try. None of my finishes are perfect, but that they don't need to be perfect. I'm a human. They aren't looked at with a magnifying glass. They're looked at from a distance. So they don't have to be perfect. So I'll show you a little bit up close, more close. You can, I don't know if you can see it. You can. I look for the fabric thread, and I keep pulling so I have the same thread lined up straight. So that's, and this tape is forgiving. Something I finished, it might have been my snowflakes and stars. I kept turning it over and it would be all crooked, and I would lift it up off the tape and fix it. And it had, there would be spots that were crooked because it was big. It's a bigger, much bigger picture. And even say this is not perfect. It looks like it's a little bit, well, maybe not, a little bit bigger border on this side than this side. But there's things you can hide when you do the cording also. Isn't this the cutest little fox? I love foxes. Okay. This is I bought that Max Pigeon book. This is the only one I've stitched so far. I have a few others flagged, and they will get stitched at some point. Someday. If you watch my regular Flosstubes, you know that I have some big projects I'm focusing on this year. And I still want to do smalls. And I also did some market pre-orders, and I've done way too many starts in the last month. I want to say month. In the last month. Today's March 14th. So yeah, within the last month, since Valentine's Day, I have done several new starts. I have 4 new starts, and there's more coming. Haven't decided what's next, but there is more coming. So again, I'm trying to pull so that I have the same fabric line, same thread in my fabric. I'll push down on my corners. So that's pretty nice corner. Wish I couldn't find my card for this to say what color fabric this is. It's a creamy, it's not ecru, it's like a creamy white color, but I don't remember what its color name was. If you really want to know, you can leave a comment below and ask, and I will find it. I have more of it because I only used a tiny little piece. I was in the Garon Stitchery Fabric of the Month Club for a year, and I did 40 count fabrics. And this was the first one I used. Now I've decided I really like stitching on 40 count. I like it better than 36 because I can use one thread. On 36 I feel like I have to use 2 threads. I like things that are tiny. I have one whip that's on 56 count and I need to finish it. And I have some 46 count fabric that I haven't tried yet, but I think 40 is kind of my sweet spot, but every now and then I want to go back to Ada. So I stitch on all different kinds and counts of fabric. That one did not go in very well. Get back in there. And don't put your fingers on the tape because it is very sticky. There. So this is my little fox. Isn't he adorable? Sorry, I keep saying that. And now I'm going to put these guys together. So I start with this one. And looking at this makes me think, yeah, I didn't need tape on there. Start with this one, and I'm going to put ribbon because the way they work, they need something to, it needs to be held together at the bottom. So I'll put a piece. You can use any kind of ribbon. I just use one that matches. And how long the ribbon is is determined by, here it is, determined by how big of a space you want. I like, for bigger ones, I do 1.5 inches to 2 inches of a space at the bottom for the opening, and you'll see when it's done what I mean by that. For this one, I might do just 1 inch. So first I'm going to put this in here. And I'll put another piece on top of it. These poor scissors, these are amazing scissors. I don't remember what kind they are, but I keep using them for finishing, and so they're gummy. I need to clean them. I have another pair that I don't use. I don't get gummy. Okay, now what I'm going to do is attach one of these to this. That's not even in the middle. Usually I measure the middle, but that's okay. You won't be able to tell when it's standing up. And to do this, I'm using the same glue. I'm going to use this other bottle because it has more in it, although I should have had it upside down too. And I'm going to start under the ribbon, and I need to get my glue to work. Start under the ribbon so I know it's stuck down there. And then I'm going to go all around the edge with the glue, and I know it's clear so you might not be able to see it. All around the edge. So I did not need glue up there, but that's okay. It'll be double stuck. And I am very generous with my glue. Now I'm going to put this piece on top. I'm making sure it's even everywhere. I feel like there's something I forgot to say, and I don't know what it is. We'll see when I get to the last piece if I remember. And now what I'm going to do is determine, I think I want 1 inch. So I'm going to fold that. Oh, sorry. First I'm going to put this on here. And this isn't getting glued down, but first we have to attach the ribbon, and I've lost count of how many times I have gotten this far and not had any ribbon inside. And the good thing is you can still take it apart. It's not permanently, takes a while for the glue to dry, so you can take it apart. I have some that are very ugly on the inside because they've been taken apart multiple times. I want this to be about 1 inch, so I'm going to do this. Let me see. Well, it's going to be a little bit bigger than 1 inch. Okay, I'll go like that. That's what I did. And then I'm going to cut this off. Put another piece on top. And the first thing I'm going to do here, which I should have done, I do this every time too. I shouldn't have taken this off yet, because the first thing I'm going to do is attach this. So I'm going to do that with glue, and I'm going to put a bunch of glue up here. I want to pull it tight, so I don't want to put the whole thing together all at once. And you need glue under that fabric and on top of it, so I'll make sure this is all equal on all sides. And I'm going to pull this down, and then I'm going to pull all of this Yeah, I'm in the camera. Pull all of this down onto the fabric. I'm pulling it as tight as I can. I want to keep this at an angle. So then when you look at the top, there's two pieces together. There's three pieces together, but you only see one. So that's that. Now I can take this off and do the rest of this. It's in the camera. This glue is hard to squeeze with just one hand. And it likes to clump. When the bottle's not full, it's a lot harder to get a good amount out of it. Okay, do I have all of my edges? I want to stick a little bit, don't drip. Stick a little bit under there to be sure that that is flat. Put some there, a little bit under there, a little bit more over here. Now I'm going to take my last piece and put it on top. And again, make sure everything is all lined up nice and neat. The glue dries clear, so if you have some glue sticking out, it's okay. And when I do this, you can do this whichever way you want. I like to make this piece the front, so this is the front. And now I'm going to attach this. Same glue. Sorry, my hands are so close to the camera. I have to have the camera down low enough so I can see in it, and I'm sitting. This might be something that would be better to do if I had a standing desk, but I don't, so I have to sit. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to actually stand up to do this part, and I'm going to center this on here. And see, these corners are a little funky, but you're not going to see them when I get the cording on there. And then what I would do with this piece is I would put it under about 3 heavy books and let it sit for a while. But right now I'm going to show you how I attach the cording. I made this cording. This is DMC 3371, and here's how I decide on the cording. I need the diameter of my stitched piece, so it's 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, so it is 60 inches around, and I'm using 3 strands, and then when you twist it together it's actually 6, 3, 6, it's actually 12 by the time you're done, the way you make cording. And then I add a couple of inches to this so that I'm sure I have enough for let's see, this is already stuck, so if I don't like the way I put it on, I could take it off, but depending on how I want to tie it off, I always have a knot somewhere with the cording. Sometimes I have them hanging down, sometimes I don't, so that's why I add a few extra inches. So if you look at this cording, you'll see that it's plenty long enough. And what do I want? How do I want to do this one? I think I'm going to tie it over here. So the first thing I do for this, same glue, I'm going to run a line of glue along this side and along this side. And I'm going to find the center of my cording. If I'm going to tie it over here, I'm going to start here. And I'm just going to push it into that glue on those sides. And then I'm going to put glue almost all the way, not all the way to the top. On this side. And this side. And sometimes I just leave my glue laying on its side, and that way it stays towards the top of the bottle. So I've got it like this. And then I'm going to tie a knot here. So the way that I do that is I first, and that's pulling up, pulling up, pulling up. So I do it carefully. Probably should have done this before I laid my cording down, because I don't want to I don't know what I was going to say. I don't want the cording to twist up so that the glue will show. So there's the first part of my knot. And I forgot to get out my little pins. I use straight pins. Let's see, I got stuff everywhere. I have these little pins that I will use to secure my knot. So first I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this, and sometimes I'll have them hanging down. I didn't actually make this one long enough for them to hang down, so there's just going to be a knot up here. Tie it pretty tight. This part is hard to do on camera. Tie this pretty tight. But then I'm going to put a little pin, and I need my chopstick. I'm going to put a pin in here. Actually, that's not the pin I want. I want a longer pin. I'll use, this one might be too long. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm going to put this through the knot. It's going to secure everything. It's going into the chipboard, so I'm going to have a hard time sticking it in there. And it goes down inside, and it is securing that knot. And then what I do with this kind of a knot, so these aren't quite long enough to do what I do sometimes. I'll have them hang down like this. This one's not long enough. This one is, but this one's not. So I'm just going to cut them so they fringe. Put it like that long. Oh, this one's shorter. That one's shorter than this one. And then you just untwist them, and sometimes I'll take, sorry for all the noise, sometimes I'll take a pair of scissors and pull through them. Let's see. Make that shorter. So this is just going to stick out a little bit this way because this is the way it's tied. And then you take this, and I go like this. And I lay it this way for a while, and this will get a crease in there. So if you look at these edges, there's like no bulk at the corners, finishing it this way. Let me grab a different one. Let's see. This is Oscar that I finished a while back, and if you look at his edges, there's some bulk in the corners here. Can't really get far enough away, but like see this corner? So these, the way I used to do it has a lot more bulk in the corners, and this, there is none. I really like that. And I love this fabric with this. I was going to finish this a different way. I have some 2025 charms. I may or may not add one to this. I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, so this is my little fox. Please let me know if you would like to see any other kinds of finishes. I think I did a video, sorry for the noise, I think I did a video quite a while back that was how I do a block finish with foam core board. I think I did. I'll check and see for sure. But if there's any other kind of finish you would like to see a video on, I learned how to do this. This is techniques from a couple of different people. Several years ago I took a bunch of classes, but I also have been a crafter my whole adult life, and I've done all kinds of things and used to sell stuff at craft bazaars. I don't do that anymore, but that is my little fox. It's Fox and Butterflies by Max Pigeon. Thank you so much for watching, and happy stitching.